If you can find yourself on this sign, then you are of God's chosen people. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, on down. These are our tribal names from Exodus chapter 1 that were stripped from us by these nations who were named after Negroes, blacks, African Americans, right along with Indians and Haitians on down. If you're on this side of the sign, then that means that you're familiar with witchcraft. The son of a virgin, that's witchcraft. On this side, you make sacrifices and offerings on an altar with an A to a god. God being something that can do some things that the human mind cannot recollect, like being a progenitor of a race of 12 tribes and calling it Israel. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, on down. The name of our Lord is Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh, if you can find yourself anywhere on this sign. And the Lord our God is an awesome God, steadfast God, who keeps his covenant, takes no bribes and shows no favors, and parted us with some laws, statutes, which means established rules and commandments that we must abide by if we want him to be in our midst, so we can have some things happening that we want done and stop having things happening that they want done to us, because these other nations know that our Lord is God, which is the first 5 books of your very Bible, which he parted us with, which is our laws, our statutes, and our commandments that we are to abide by, and not the rules, codes, and ordinances of the nations that were named after. But you wouldn't know that unless you saw this sign, just like I myself saw the sign, and just like I myself read the book, and now I'm spreading the word about the laws, the statutes, and the commandments that we're to abide by. I've heard of the chip they say is coming out, but if you're on this side of the sign, then you will understand that in Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 8, and in Deuteronomy chapter 11:18 says, a sign on your hand and a symbol on your forehead for when you were freed from Egypt, to serve as a remembrance. Put it on your gates and on your doorposts, to serve as a remembrance of when you were free from Egypt. And on this side, it speaks of the mark of the beast, which is once you pass Deuteronomy, which these religious organizations are professionally teaching you to do, urging you to be disloyal to your God, But our Lord knew about that sorcery and witchcraft before it even got here. He was just testing us by our hardship. And the Lord said to hold fast to him, for when he manifests himself, he will see who has been naughty and who has been nice. And I think the whole world gonna know who's been naughty and who's been nice. And the Lord made a covenant with our forefathers, and we were to hold fast to him no matter what the situation may be, and to follow the first 5 books of your very Bible, every Bible that you have. And the Lord said in Deuteronomy 29:9, you stand this day, all of you, before the Lord your God, your tribal heads, your elders, and your officials, all the men of Israel, your children, your wives, even the stranger within the camp, from wood chopper to water drawer, to enter into the covenant of the Lord your God, which the Lord your God is concluding with you this day, with its sanctions. And sanctions meaning authorization, support, or approval. Deuteronomy 29:12, to the end that he may establish you this day as his people and be your God, as he promised you, as he swore to your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I make this covenant with its sanctions, not with you alone, but both with those who are standing here with us this day before the Lord our God, and with those who are not with us here this day. And now the Lord our God is telling us that he made a covenant with our forefathers, and to hold fast to Him through all that's going on, no matter what that's going on. And if you're watching this video, that means no matter what you're going through, we ought to hold fast to the Lord because He said so. Deuteronomy 7:6. For you are a people consecrated to the Lord your God. Of all the peoples on earth, the Lord your God chose you to be His treasured people. It is not because you are the numerous of peoples that the Lord set His heart on you and chose you. Indeed, you are the smallest of peoples. But it was because the Lord favored you and kept the oath He made your fathers, that the Lord freed you with a mighty hand and rescued you from the house of bondage, from the power of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that only the Lord your God is God, the steadfast God who keeps His covenant faithfully to the 1000th generation of those who love Him and keep His commandments, but who instantly requits, and requite meaning to repay for an injury or wrong. Deuteronomy 7:10. But who instantly requites with destruction those who reject Him, never slow with those who reject Him, but requiting them instantly. Therefore observe faithfully the instruction, the laws, and the rules with which I charge you today. Just like when your father tells you at home, as long as you live under my roof, you're going to follow by my rules. Deuteronomy 7:12 says, and if you do obey these rules and observe them carefully, the Lord your God will maintain faithfully for you the covenant that He made on oath with your fathers. He will favor you and bless you and multiply you. He will bless the issue of your womb and the produce of your soil, your new grain and wine and oil, the calving of your herd and the lambing of your flock, in the land that He swore to your fathers to assign to you. You shall be blessed above all other peoples. There shall be no sterile male or female among you or among your livestock. The Lord will ward off from you all sickness. He will not bring upon you any of the dreadful diseases of Egypt about which you know, but it will inflict them upon all your enemies. You shall destroy all the peoples that the Lord your God delivers to you, showing them no pity, and you shall not worship their gods, for that would be a snare to you. Should you say to yourselves, these nations are more numerous than we, how can we dispossess them? You need have no fear of them. You have but to bear in mind what the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and all the Egyptians. The wondrous acts that you saw with your own eyes, the signs and the portents, the mighty hand and the outstretched arm by which the Lord your God liberated you. Thus will the Lord your God do to all the peoples you now fear. The Lord your God will also send a plague against them, until those who are left in hiding perish before you. Do not stand in dread of them, for the Lord your God is in your midst, a great and awesome God. The Lord your God will dislodge those peoples before you, little by little. You will not be able to put an end to them at once, else the wild beasts would multiply to your hurt. The Lord your God will deliver them up to you, throwing them into utter panic until they are wiped out. He will deliver their kings into your hand, and you shall obliterate their name from under the heavens. No man shall stand up to you until you have wiped them out. You shall consign the images of their gods to the fire. You shall not covet the silver and gold on them, and keep it for yourselves, lest you be ensnared thereby, for that is abhorrent to the Lord your God. You must not bring an abhorrent thing into your house, or you will be proscribed like it. You must reject it as abominable and abhorrent, for it is prescribed. And the Lord our God is telling us these things, and He is telling us for the simple fact that we need to know. And it's not for everybody. It's only for the people that are on this sign. It's only for the people that can find themselves anywhere on this sign, because all these codes, rules, and ordinances of the nations that we're named after, we are not to follow. But we wouldn't know that we were the children of Israel unless we saw the sign. We wouldn't know that we were the people from Exodus chapter 1, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, on down, that has been transferred for the sake of the son of a virgin, which is witchcraft, unless we saw the sign. And I'm here to show you the sign, and I'm spreading the word so, everybody could wake up to the fact that the first 5 books are our Hebrew laws. It's a law book for the Hebrews, which is us. In Deuteronomy 30:3, then the Lord your God will restore your fortunes and take you back in love. He will bring you together again from all the peoples where the Lord your God has scattered you, even if your outcasts are at the ends of the world. From there the Lord your God will gather you. From there he will fetch you, and the Lord your God will bring you to the land that your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. And he will make you more prosperous and more numerous than your fathers. Then the Lord your God will open up your heart and the hearts of your offspring to love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul, in order that you may live. The Lord your God will inflict all those curses upon the enemies and foes who persecuted you. You, however, will again heed the Lord and obey all his commandments that I enjoin upon you this day. And the Lord your God will grant you abounding prosperity in all your undertakings, in the issue of your womb, the offspring of your cattle, and the produce of your soil. For the Lord will again delight in your well-being, as he did in that of your fathers, since you will be heeding the Lord your God and keeping his commandments and laws that are recorded in this book of the teaching, once you return to the Lord your God with all your heart and soul. Surely this instruction which I enjoin upon you this day is not too baffling for you, nor is it beyond reach. It is not in the heavens that you should say, who among us can go up to the heavens and get it for us and impart it to us, that we may observe it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who among us can cross to the other side of the sea and get it for us and impart it to us, that we may observe it? No, the thing is very close to you, in your mouth and in your heart, to observe it. See, I set before you this day life and prosperity, death and adversity. For I command you this day to love the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, his laws, and his rules, that you may thrive and increase, and that the Lord your God may bless you in the land that you are about to enter and possess. But if your heart turns away, and you give no heed, and are lured into the worship and service of other gods, I have declared to you this day that you shall certainly perish. You shall not long endure on the soil that you are crossing the Jordan to enter and possess. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life, if you and your offspring would live, by loving the Lord your God, heeding his commands, and holding fast to him. For thereby you shall have life, and shall long endure upon the soil that the Lord swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to him. He swore to our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them. And how did they get us into calling ourselves Negroes, Indians, Haitians, Dominicans? The son of a virgin. They've been crucified him. Witchcraft and sorcery, which is adding to this book. Adding to this book and professionally teaching it to every Negro, Indian, Haitian, Dominican on down that's on this side. And our people love to have it so. Love to have it so. And we don't understand that we are God's chosen people. And everything that has been done under the heavens to defile, detest, and go against the Hebrew Israelites has been done. And the Lord is testing us by our hardships. The Lord is testing us by our very hardships to see who's being naughty and who is being nice. Because no matter what's going on around us, we are supposed to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. I know we can't make our sacrifice and offerings as we are supposed to and as we are commanded, is why the Lord our God, Yeh Ashar Yeh, will have to manifest himself, and he said to hold it fast to him. So we can get back to the things, and so we can have him in our midst, and so we can have the things done that we want done, and not keep having the things done that they want done being done. And how do they keep us under the threat of duress and coercion? The military complex, the law enforcement, the guns, the sword. Isn't that how they approach us? Isn't that how they approach us? And we need to get back to calling on the name of our Lord so we can have the things done that we want done. But we can't just, just call on his name without acting. You know, we have to act it out. The first 5 books of your very Bible is our laws, the Hebrew law, and they have taken crafty counsel upon us by adding to this book. And the name of our Lord is Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh.